Welcome back, and we are back at the rear. Yes, we're going to be looking at the seat situation after that initial failure. So if you're sitting comfortably, I shall begin. As you're probably aware, you can buy ready-made seats specifically for cafe racers, scramblers and brats on eBay or Amazon for anywhere upwards of like $40, and honestly they're pretty good. I've got one on the CB350, although it's not on there at the moment, as you can see. But as you know, it didn't fit this one particularly well. It was a little bit short. Now apparently that doesn't bother some people, as you can see. This is the 350 Scrambler cafe racer that's sold for $5,000 on Bring a Trailer, and you'll notice they don't care that the seat falls 2 inches short of the tank, which all in all is a little bit lazy and looks a bit rubbish, right? So I looked a bit harder, and on eBay I found these wonderful people in Texas. This seat is slightly too long, so this is 24 inches long. We need 22 and a half, and the one we got was just under 20. Now obviously it's easier to chop bits off than it is to stick things on. So I was contemplating this, and then I noticed at the bottom of that advert that they would do any size you want. So I got in touch with them. I sent them measurements, including the kick up at the back and the angle of that and where that starts and finishes and all that kind of stuff. And the end result is that for $185, including shipping, we should get a seat that fits perfectly, even down to the mounting posts, which I told them where I wanted those. So when it arrives, we'll see. And while I was looking at that one on Bring a Trailer, I also noticed at the back end that they were lazy with the rear light. They just stuck it on the back, didn't recess it, didn't even buy one that was already recessed like the one we have. Well, this is exciting. Looks like a seat. Oops. Why, yes it is, and jolly nice too. Beautifully handmade. Okay, shall we see if it fits? Well, that's the general idea, but of course it's like 4 inches too high. But let's put the tank on and see. Well, it's early to say, but I would say that is bloody perfect. Well, it's perfect there in terms of that mount there. It's perfect in terms of the kink up from the tank. I don't know how those got so far out. What happened there then? Yeah, I mean, that's not even a near miss. I need to recheck my measurements, but we can make it work. Is one bolt enough to hold a seat on? Well, yes, of course it is. I think on the Ducati, all that held it on was gravity and your bum. All in all, a good job. Don't know who got the measurements wrong. Probably me. But that's going to work nicely. Not my favourite kind of seat, to be honest. I like them with a little bit more kick up the back, you know, to park your butt. But it suits this bike very well. Having taken the nuts off those front posts, they do actually slip inside the frame, so we won't have to chop them off. But it's whether we put 2 more in the base, which we could do with our rivet nuts. It's not impossible. I'll think about it. No, I'm not sure at the moment. I think for now we'll focus on getting the hole in the right place here, sit it down where it's actually going to sit, make sure those existing posts do clear the edge of that, and then we'll worry about whether we put another mount in or not. Step at a time. Right, well, that's about it in position. So now we need to find a way marking that, and there she is. So we're riding high at the front because it's sitting on that flap at the back of the tank. We could potentially remove that, but then it's going to be sat right on top of those electrics, so I don't really want to do that. So yeah, we've got a bit of a gap situation going on. See, nothing's ever straightforward. The alternative is to relocate some of this stuff. So move the starter solenoid relay into here. Plenty of room here. Which of course is where the battery is supposed to go. But we could move the battery here. Quite easily. Perfectly hidden. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Didn't want to have to do that, but it might work out best in the end anyway. So we'll need some longer positive cables to run back to the battery there, and we'll need some longer ground cables too, both to the starter motor and the battery again. And that means we've got to make something for the battery to live on. Before we get too carried away with that idea, I thought I'd just see what that would resolve. So I've unhooked the starter solenoid, it's sitting down there. And let's put the seat on and see what that looks like. Well, that's that sorted, isn't it? That's a much better idea. It does mean we'll have to probably get rid of that tab at the back of the fuel tank, but there's nothing that it currently fits onto anyway, so tank will just butt up to that, and it's held in place by these, so that's all good. Right, just got to get a box for the battery, and luckily we've got a few fairly meaty power cables for extending that battery connection. Those one cable extension. Just shrink wrap that. Lovely. And there's our new positive going back there, which needs a bit of insulation, doesn't it? Alright, that's better. Anyway, there's our positive, which is longer than we need at the moment. We'll see when we mount everything up. What I did notice while I was in there, it's dangerously, you can't see it, there you go, dangerously close to earthing out that. We need some kind of insulation down that gap. Don't know why they mounted it so bloody close. Oh look, there we've got a definite short happening right there. Now look, there's a split in the cable there, in the outside of the cable. That's a definite short waiting to happen, right? Well, as usual, 5-minute job is turned into a major task. So I'm going to switch this round. We've got just enough length on some of these wires to mount this. It's not pretty, but an angle. But it's safe because it keeps that positive terminal there away from any possible shortage. Right. Silly children. What were they thinking? 1 hour later, at least, we have a positive terminal that is a long way clear of anything that's going to short out on, and a starter solenoid repositioned at the back there, and all our battery stuff ready to go. I guess we got there in the end. Well, we ain't finished yet. I bought a tin. Well, no point in making one if you can buy one that's pretty much the right size. Yeah, that fits under there beautifully. Well, that saves a certain amount of aggravation for sure. A little bit of padding just to wedge it in there nicely, and jobs are good, I think. Result. Couple of 5mm bolts, and there we have it. all we got to do is have some kind of strap that holds it in place, I suppose. There we go, that'll do nicely. Yeah, it's free with a pair of jeans. Yeah, just like that, and then we'll fix it to the same thing that holds the battery tray in place. So it's not a battery tray anymore, is it? You know what I mean. And there we have it, all strapped in. And by the way, these batteries are amazing, right? So you can screw in the actual cables either there on the side, on the top obviously where it was on the other one, or on this side down here somewhere, and you can swap them about. So we'll put the positive on that one, yeah, because that kind of works best. I think that's about it for the seat. Honestly, it fits. Beautifully made by those guys in Texas, so do check them out if you're looking for a seat and nothing quite does the job. By the way, it was me that screwed up the measurements for those two posts on the bottom of the seat. No surprise there, right? So thanks for tuning in. We'll see the finished article once the tank's ready and that's all bolted up, and lots more to come, obviously, other stuff and exhausts and whatever, loads of stuff. Anyway, give that video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that stuff, and of course encourage others to watch my lunacy.